This evening, first, national grief, national curfew. After pathologists ruled that 11-year-old Adriana Younge died by drowning, unrest exploded across Guyana. Fires, roadblocks, and outrage. Now a national curfew is in place as the country grapples with heartbreak and fury. We have the latest on the investigation, the protests, and the calls for calm. Plus, tears in court as looting suspects face terror charges. Emotions ran high at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today as 9 men were remanded on terrorism-related charges tied to the unrest. Some claimed innocence, some wept, but all now face up to 10 years in prison for their alleged roles in Monday night's chaos. Also, arrest made in Norton street murder. Gun violence shake Bagotstown. A 37-year-old man is in custody after allegedly shooting Mark Anthony Benjamin in the head during a confrontation. What police are saying and what comes next for the suspect now in custody. Meanwhile, lifeline for the hinterland. Hope is rising in Region 9 with over $450 million in healthcare investments, new hospitals, ambulances, and medicine supply chains are transforming lives in Ghana's remote interior. Tonight, we take you inside the new Anai District Hospital, already performing surgeries and saving lives. And globally, trade war tensions rise. President Trump escalates the economic battle with China, slapping sweeping tariffs on nearly all Chinese imports. What this means for global markets, U.S. consumers, and you. Stay tuned, these stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 30th, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, in the wake of widespread unrest and public outrage following the release of the post-mortem results for 11-year-old Adriana Younge, a national curfew was put in place. In a gazetted order signed by Minister of Home Affairs Robertson Ben, it has been announced that there shall be no public meetings, gatherings, or assemblies of persons, processions, or marches in any public places during the hours of 12:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. On Monday evening, the country erupted in chaos after pathologists confirmed that the young girl, whose mysterious death captured national attention, died by drowning. The announcement triggered fiery protests, road blockade, looting, and arson in several parts of the country, with rogue elements targeting Chinese-owned supermarkets and other businesses. Security forces, including the Ghana Police Force and the military, worked throughout the night into Tuesday to extinguish fires, dismantle roadblocks, and restore order in affected regions. National leaders have called for calm as Ghana grapples with unrest following Adriana Younge's autopsy findings. Mayor of Georgetown, Alfred Mentor, addressing the growing tension in the capital, confirmed the temporary closure of the Stabroek and border markets, citing safety concerns after disturbances in the city. He emphasized the importance of protecting historical landmarks and maintaining public order. Many businesses across the country remain closed, including several major stores on Regent Street, which resembles a ghost town on Tuesday. Some malls and retail shops remain shuttered. Many Chinese supermarkets, particularly affected by Monday night's violence, have also stayed closed out of fear of further attacks. Though the Ministry of Education has not officially suspended classes, many parents kept their children at home, citing safety concerns. Religious leaders have echoed the call for peace, urging citizens to mourn responsibly and refrain from violence. As authorities continue to investigate Adriana Younge's death and arrest those responsible for the violence, national leaders are urging citizens not to let anger and despair spiral into destruction. The government has pledged transparency in the ongoing investigation and assured the public that those responsible for any wrongdoings, whether in Adriana's case or the subsequent unrest, will be held accountable. Staying with current events, emotions ran high at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today as 9 men were remanded to prison after being charged with inciting public terror and looting a Chinese-owned supermarket during Monday night's widespread unrest. They accused Corwin Bash, Devon Lewis, Randy Benjamin, Alex Atkinson, Aidan Coffey, Jason Hardy, Tyrese Hassana, Jamal Singh, and Faisal Kennedy face charges under the Terrorism Act and could each face fines of up to $500,000 or up to 10 years in prison if found guilty. In addition to the terrorism-related charges, the men are also accused of breaking into a supermarket along Cemetery Road, Georgetown, and stealing goods valued at approximately $6 million during the chaos that erupted following the release of Adriana Younge's post-mortem results. The men, ranging in age from 19 to 39 and employed in various professions, including construction, taxi driving, and vending, were not required to plea. Bail was denied after the prosecution objected strongly. The case was adjourned to May 28, 2025. Several defendants broke down in tears during the hearing. One insisted he was only present to promote peace, while another claimed he was documenting the event. Some of the accused men alleged mistreatment by police while in custody, including physical assault and denial of basic rights. Over 100 people were arrested in connection with Monday's disturbances, which saw road blockade, arson, and looting in several parts of the country following the autopsy results that confirmed that 11-year-old Adriana Younge died by drowning, a ruling that triggered national outrage. In other news, police have arrested 37-year-old Hosea Fraser, also known as Hosea Salmon, in connection with the fatal shooting of Mark Anthony Benjamin. Fraser was apprehended during a police operation in Regional Division 6, Berbice, early this morning, Wednesday, April 30th. The incident occurred Tuesday night at Norton Street, Bagotstown, East Bank Demerara, where Benjamin was shot in the head following an altercation with the suspect, who then fled the scene. According to the Guyana Police Force, Benjamin and Fraser were known to each other, reported that they had a confrontation which quickly escalated into violence, leading to the fatal shooting. Benjamin's body is currently at the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination as investigations continue. Fraser is now in custody and is expected to face charges in connection with the murder. Stick around when we return. Government launched a major healthcare overhaul in Region 9, and GRA extends tax filing deadline to May 9, 2025.
Mother's Day, Digicel is stirring up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID card. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of those transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who have already registered must collect their new ID cards if they have not yet done so. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02-7729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Speak clearly with a digital site from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Copy small to make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. In a landmark move to improve healthcare access in Guyana's hinterland, the government has rolled out a sweeping infrastructure upgrade across Region 9, investing over $450 million to enhance medical services in remote communities. A major highlight is the official opening of the new Anai District Hospital. This $36 million state-of-the-art facility eliminates the need for residents to travel long distances to Lethem or Georgetown for critical care. Surgeries have already begun at the facility, marking a significant milestone in local healthcare delivery. Health workers noted the emotional and financial burden previously faced by patients forced to seek treatment far from home. In Aranaputa, a newly built $12.5 million health post now provides antenatal care, chronic disease management, family planning, and outpatient services to 600 residents. Meanwhile, Lethem has added a new $14 million pharmaceutical bond, ensuring a consistent supply of essential drugs and medical supplies. 4 ambulances have been delivered to Karesabai, Sand Creek, Anai, and Upakari to strengthen emergency response. The region also launched a cross-border vaccination drive in collaboration with Brazil, PAHU, and WHO, targeting yellow fever, measles, mumps, rubella, and HPV to improve immunization rates and public health outcomes. As part of a local push to boost healthcare skills, 31 individuals recently graduated as trained microscopists equipped to diagnose malaria, one of the region's persistent health concerns. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, who attended the facility openings and graduation ceremony, emphasized that the government's investments are about empowering communities and ensuring that no region is left behind when it comes to healthcare. The initiative represents a transformative step forward in the goal to deliver equitable quality healthcare to all Guyanese, particularly those in remote and underserved areas. The Ghana Revenue Authority has announced an extension of the deadline for submitting and paying tax returns for Year of Assessment 2025. Previously due April 30th, 2025, taxpayers now have until Friday, May 9th, 2025 to file their returns without incurring interest or penalties. The extension covers individual income tax, property tax, capital gain tax, corporation tax, and partnership tax. Interest and penalties will be waived for the returns and payments submitted by the new date. Returns can be filed online via the Padna app or Optimal e-Services or in person at GRA offices. Payments can be made through GRA cashiers or approved platforms such as online banking, MMG, and Bill Express. Don't go away after the break. UNC wins Trinidad and Tobago election and Trump's 100-day scorecard, executive orders, tariffs, and foreign policies.
This Mother's Day, Digicel is stirring up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
Worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
Sneak in with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. If you have moved to a new address since you were registered, you are required to update your address by applying for a transfer to ensure your registration details are accurate. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for a transfer. You can apply to have your address updated during this national registration exercise. You can visit the GCOM registration offices Monday to Thursday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago's opposition party, the United National Congress, UNC, won a decisive victory in Monday's parliamentary election, according to preliminary results. The win paves the way for 73-year-old Kamala Persad Bissessar to return as Prime Minister. Her campaign focused on wage hikes and job creation amid rising crime and economic woes. Outgoing Prime Minister Stuart Young had called a snap election following criticism of his appointment. A day after one of Europe's largest blackouts, life is gradually returning to normal in Spain and Portugal. Electricity had been restored to millions of homes and businesses. The focus now turns to understanding what caused that sudden and widespread outage. Al Jazeera's Step Vesson reports.
A big sigh of relief in Madrid when after 8 hours of no electricity and no internet, the power came back on Monday evening. Freeing people from dangerous situations stuck in metros, trains and elevators without any means of communication. Many had to spend the night at stations across the country after trains were cancelled or stranded on the way. Thousands of passengers anxiously tried to continue their journeys the next day, wondering what had caused this major disruption.
I don't think they're telling us the truth about what happened. I can't believe that after all these hours they haven't told us.
This is what a few seconds of a sudden drop in power supply can do to a country. Chaos and major delays, even many hours after much of the electricity has been restored. What happened on the Iberian Peninsula is not only a test for Spain and Portugal, but for Europe as a whole.
While Spain's grid operator has ruled out a cyber attack, the government wants to keep all options open. Spain's High Court has started an investigation into the possibility.
What citizens should realise is that the Spanish government will get to the bottom of this, and we will reform our electricity system and make changes and take the steps necessary so that this never happens again.
Sanchez brushed away claims that the country's increased dependency on renewable energy had anything to do with it. Nearly half of Spain's electricity comes from wind and solar energy. The sudden drop of power supply of more than 10 gigawatts, more than 60% of Spain's national consumption, has been a big warning to Brussels.
It was of unprecedented magnitude, so obviously we will be looking into the lessons learned.
Brussels warned all EU citizens a few weeks ago to prepare themselves for emergencies like major power cuts. Spain and Portugal now have been the first countries to show how prepared they really are. Step Fasten, Al Jazeera, Madrid.
The Trump administration has intensified its economic confrontation with China by imposing steep tariffs on nearly all Chinese goods. This escalating trade war is affecting industries and workers in both countries. Al Jazeera's Adriana Younge reports.
Guangdong province in southern China is a manufacturing powerhouse. Landing in the provincial capital Guangzhou, signs of China's economic ties to the US are all around, from Boeing planes on the tarmac to the busy Starbucks coffee shop. But despite the very visible presence of these well-known American brands, China ships much more to the US than it imports. US President Donald Trump wants to fix that in part by slapping high tariffs on Chinese goods. Dalang town, 2 hours' drive from the capital, has been hit hard by those levies.
If you happen to have a wool sweater in your wardrobe, it's likely one of them was made here. Dalang produces about 20% of the world's wool sweaters, and many factories, like this one, export to the US.
This plant produces millions of Christmas sweaters annually, a third for the US market. American retailers purchased each garment for $8, selling them on to American consumers for about $40. That was before the new tariffs. The owner says all of his American customers have recently cancelled their orders. He's allowed us to film here, but is afraid to appear on camera and talk about what he says has become a sensitive political issue. Outside, we discover why. Many smaller factories are closed and have been forced to lay off employees.
There are so many factories here, but many of them are firing workers. It's hard to find a job.
Businesses here struggled to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. For some, the new tariffs were the last straw.
There are no orders now, so we don't need workers. We will hire workers when there are orders.
We drive back to the city to find out how other exporters are dealing with higher US tariffs. The Canton Fair is a biannual trade show helping Chinese manufacturers find customers overseas. Many are now scrambling to find new markets. Sarah Shao creates custom housing fixtures for American clients who she says are just as shocked by the tariffs as she is.
This is the things is going crazy, and they cannot believe it. The Trump did this behavior, but they are holding their project right now. They are not moving. I don't think the trade war will bring winner. Or if this tariff war keep going, I think all these countries are losers.
But there could be winners. Buyers from other countries may have an opportunity to order goods at better prices, like Saleh Salama from Saudi Arabia.
My cousin and I arrived with the business and idea, and when we saw what's available, it's completely different than what we planned. It's like you're looking at the biggest catalog in the world. You're looking at something and the varieties are endless.
Endless varieties of goods produced in China every day. Most exporters here believe they'll find new customers eventually, but whether the US can find replacements for the same supplies, they're not so sure. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera in Guangdong, China.
Well, earlier I was joined by Huya Wang, a former state councillor and president of the Center for China and Globalization think tank.
Donald Trump's presidency marked a sharp departure from traditional U.S. foreign policy, prioritizing disruption and transactional tactics over established alliances. His approach, described as aggressive and colonial, include public clashes with allies like Ukraine, threats to annex Greenland, and erratic military posturing. Despite low approval ratings, Trump remains convinced his fear-based strategy will reshape the international order. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
America knew what it was getting.
Put America first.
Donald Trump campaigned against the status quo, promised disruption, promised change in its global approach.
It's rare for a president to want to disrupt multiple aspects of international and foreign policy, from economics through security.
He's all dressed up today.
If there was a clear sign things would be different, it was this stunning moment in the Oval Office.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky berated and booted out of the White House, a long-term US ally not considered grateful enough for American support, a sign it wasn't going to be business as usual.
U.S. foreign policy is now no longer rooted in routine engagement. It is no longer rooted in friendly engagement. This is now all about the Trump administration really is trying to pivot this strategy and pivot this approach and root it in this transactional strategy of intimidation.
Donald Trump has talked about annexing Greenland, making Canada the 51st state.
Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form.
Threatened Iran, military action in Mexico, and sending troops to take control of the Panama Canal. A foreign policy that is aggressive, expansive, and colonial, centralized and personalized at the White House.
He's been, you could argue, cleverer at setting up a structure of government that allows him to indulge his various whims, allows him to do on-again, off-again approaches to policy. And the difficulty is, of course, most of his ideas aren't very good ideas, and you don't have anyone there to correct him.
Defenders of Donald Trump say a lot of what he says is just bluster or testing the waters. But every country in the world is currently recalibrating its relationship with the United States. In just 100 days, he's had foreign policy failures. Failed to bring peace to Ukraine, failed to enforce a ceasefire in Gaza, and attacks against the Houthis in Yemen have failed to stop their operations in the Red Sea. He's dismantled USAID, a global assistance program that showcased US leadership and generated global stability.
67%, that's tariffs.
And there's tariffs, increasing them by an average of 22%, pushing away trading partners, potentially leaving the US isolated and exposed.
It's unclear to me whether there's a grand plan that we're at the end of all this change, the United States is able to maintain its influence around the world. I think they're undermining American influence around the world in ways that we will feel, dramatic impact in the mid to long term.
Trump is convinced he's redrawing the international order, using the fear factor to exert his will, and willing to change the rules to deliver what he promised. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Washington.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in on Friday at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other, and do have a wonderful Labor Day holiday.